One of the most intriguing survival secrets to come out of the Second World War had nothing to do with weapons or tactics. It was a piece of gear so ordinary that honestly most people would overlook it entirely. Soldiers on both sides of the conflict faced miserable weather conditions, especially in those long campaigns where rain, mud and cold destroyed equipment faster than bullets. Tarps leaked, canvas tents sagged under water weight, and anything left on the ground overnight came back soaked. Yet, tucked away in quartermaster reports and field gear logs is a reference to a type of cloth that resisted water far better than standard canvas. It was a field-proven, soldier-tested solution that weighed less, lasted longer, and remained dependable even after months of exposure. Today it barely gets discussed, but its value for modern survivalists and historians is enormous. How World War II conditions forced the development of a new kind of waterproof cloth. By 1941, weather damage was becoming a serious problem on every front. In the Pacific, equipment rotted from humidity. In Europe, cold rains turned supply camps into bogs. Standard cotton canvas, while rugged, had a major weakness. It absorbed water and took forever to dry. Wet canvas stretched, sagged, and became heavier. The Allies needed something different, something that behaved more like treated oilcloth without the fragility or the tendency to crack. This demand, well, it led to a revival and refinement of an older technique, one rooted in maritime history. The answer was waxed cotton cloth, the same principle that sailors had used for centuries to protect sails and weather gear. But, World War II manufacturing refined it by using paraffin wax, blended with linseed-based oils, heated and forced into tightly woven cotton. The result was a cover cloth that resisted rainfall, shed water almost instantly, and remained usable in conditions where even modern polytarps would tear or degrade. The secret wasn't just the wax itself. It was actually the density of the fabric, combined with the way the wax bonded to each individual fibre. When heat was applied during production, the wax mixture would, penetrate deeply, coating the internal threads rather than just sitting on top. Once cooled, the cloth gained a hardened yet flexible finish that blocked moisture from ever entering the weave. This meant that water simply beaded up and rolled off, even during prolonged exposure. Soldiers could wrap ammunition crates, protect radios, cover foxholes, or, shield rifles during night storms. Unlike rubberized fabrics, waxed cotton did not crack in cold weather. It could also be repaired simply by rewaxing worn areas. That made it ideal for campaigns in northern France, where equipment was taken on and off trucks, dragged through hedgerows, or stuffed repeatedly into packs. German, British and American forces all used versions of this cloth, and in some units waxed cotton sheets became prized items traded or repurposed for field shelters. Reports describe it being used to keep ground moisture off sleeping gear during extended trenches or when units dug quick shelters under hedgerows. Scout units draped waxed cloth panels over reconnaissance notebooks and maps, allowing them to write for hours in the rain without fear of water damage. Motorpool mechanics used it to shield engine components during emergency repairs. Radio operators covered their equipment with it to protect against rain-induced short circuits. Because the cloth remained flexible, soldiers could fold and unfold it repeatedly without losing waterproofing. This gave it an advantage over tarps, which often tore at the grommets or corners after rough handling. Wax cloth was also quieter. The process of creating wax cotton is, well, both simple and extremely effective. For those interested in historic crafting or maybe just improving their survival gear, it really only requires cotton fabric, paraffin wax, linseed oil, and a bit of careful heating. The first step is selecting a tight weave cotton, such as duck cloth, canvas twill, or even repurposed military cotton. Of course, the fabric must be fully clean and dry. Next, paraffin wax is melted slowly with a small portion of boiled linseed oil. The oil softens the final product, preventing the cloth from becoming brittle. Heating must be gentle to avoid scorching the mixture. Once melted, the blend is brushed or rubbed into the cloth while it is warmed over a heat source or in direct sun. Heat helps the wax penetrate deep into the fibres. After the entire cloth is saturated, it is warmed again to ensure even absorption and then hung until fully cooled. The result is a waterproof cover cloth nearly identical to those used in World War II. It can be folded, stitched, grommeted, or used as is. A survivalist might apply this technique to create a gear wrap, a ground cloth, a pack liner, or even a lightweight poncho that repels rain far better than canvas. For a practical example, consider building a simple field shelter. 2 or 3 waxed cotton sheets can serve as a long-lasting lean-to when paired with wooden stakes. Another example is storing tools or firewood outdoors. Covering them with waxed cotton instead of plastic reduces condensation, prevents mould, and extends the lifespan of the materials underneath. Even hunters today use waxed wraps to protect meat during overnight hangs because the cloth sheds moisture and breathes just enough to prevent sweating. This material represents a bridge between pre-industrial craftsmanship and modern survival culture. It shows how necessity pushed militaries to refine natural methods rather than rely solely on new synthetics. The waterproof cover cloth of World War II was more than a piece of fabric. It was a lifeline that endured mud, rain, and the brutal unpredictability of war. Its usefulness hasn't faded, and its method remains as valuable today as it was 80 years ago. If you want more deep, historically grounded guides that connect old-world knowledge to modern resilience, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this video with others, and leave a comment with the next forgotten technique you want uncovered.